to the first television show, the show where we take a look at those all-important and unrepeatable first times in a top celebrity's life. Could be their first fortune, their first leather accessory, or as Catherine Zeta-Jones calls him, Michael Douglas. My guest tonight is not as other men. We may breathe oxygen, but he inhales the rich, sweet smell of victory. Our feet may rest on the prosaic ground, but his are sunk deep in the loam of achievement. Though he does pass water through his wee stick like the rest of us. He was once Britain's most successful world champion boxer, but now lives quietly in Hove with his wife, kids, canes, monocles, and a 7.5-ton chrome-plated truck. Please welcome the original Lord of the Rings, Chris Eubank! Take a seat. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you very much. Pleasure to see you, sir.
Thank you.
And you brought your washing bag with you. What's happening in here? You have a shave later on.
Autograph cards. I need to carry this around because otherwise I have to stop in the street and sign, and that can take hours.
Yes, it takes me absolutely hours as well. Let's have a look. Can we have a look at that?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, look at you. And that's... Can I keep that?
Of course.
Oh, OK, let's see that. You see that? Got my own Chris Eubank signed picture. Now, we know you as a bit of a dandy with a funny voice, but apparently you used to be a boxer as well, didn't you? We've got a picture of you. Got a picture of you at the height of your powers. What were you winning there?
Probably the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World.
So is that a proper title? It's not one of those made-up Sky ones. You see, you pay 20 quid, is it?
Well, no, you have to train for some years and go through a hell of a lot of pain to actually get a chance to contend for it.
Yes,
so.
exactly.
Yeah.
What was your first boxing title?
I was the Spanish Golden Glove champion in 1984 in New York City.
Well, in New York? Because, of course, you grew up in New York for a while, didn't you? You lived there for a while.
Well, I learned to box there. I went there when I was 16 years old. I was a bit too much of a unruly boy in London, so my father took me out of London.
A little shit, as my mother would say.
Manners, sir.
Yes, I do apologise, Now, do you have a nickname? Because, of course, the great Nigel Benn was the Dark Destroyer, and I think that sums him up. The Dark Destroyer, power. Have you got a nickname?
Well, I mean, they called me simply the best, but I was never simply the best as a boxer. I was only simply the best as an individual, as a human being.
So, I'm confused. Did you have a nickname or not?
Yeah.
You did. That's all we need to know. Now, Chris, what do you think of today's boxers? I mean, I think they're arrogant, self-justifying egotists. That wouldn't have happened in your day, would it?
Well, well, keep this in mind. When a man gets into the ring to fight, that's not really who he is. He doesn't behave that way outside the ring. Inside the ring, yes, you must be arrogant. You must make people switch on the TV and say, well, what's he doing? And if you don't do that, then you don't become box office. You don't become a character. And then people don't really switch on because they don't really care about you, you know?
Well, listen, Chris, it's time to move on to your first. Your first title. I'm not talking about the WBO middleweight title. I mean your first non-sporting title. Can you tell us what it is?
Probably the Lord of the Men of Brighton.
You say it as if everyone knows it. Say it a little bit slower so that everyone can hear. What was your first non-sporting title?
Well, it's a lordship. And it's something that I bought because I thought it was quaint, funny. There is a serious point to it, but I'm not going to go into that.
How much did it cost?
Not important.
Right. Why is that not important?
Because then, you know, if I spend, you know, 8p on something that is worth probably 1p, then people say, well, that's silly.
But it's important to you, though, isn't it?
Important? It was important at the time. And it's all fun. It's
But how much is your idea of fun?
How much?
Yeah, how much does it cost?
Well, listen, you mustn't put a price on it. Having fun.
But you did put a price on it because you bought it. You must put some price on it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go into that.
I've got it written in front of me.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to...
If I say it, will you punch me?
No, I will not. You can't afford me, sir.
I heard... It may be wrong. I heard... I'm so shitting myself now. I heard it cost you £45,000.
It's just a number.
I wish I could say that with just a number in mind. Chris, let's move on to your next first.
Sure.
Now, it's your first round defeat. Did you really get beaten in the first round?
Well, I was knocked down in the first round.
But the first time you got beaten, actually, that was the end. Kaput, ended, first round.
No, that didn't happen.
On the bus home. Never happened, not even with Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer.
No, I stopped
Chris,
him in 9 rounds.
I'm afraid there was one instance when you were lost and you were out in the first round and you lost to a woman. It was this woman, Chris. Yes. Thea Turner, or the Baby Image Destroyer, as I like to call her. Now, she beat you on Celebrity Big Brother in the first round, man.
Yes, yes.
What did that feel like?
It felt, well, quite magnanimous, really, because...
Knowing that you were less popular than Vanessa Feltz.
Well, you see, I can't go into that because... Let's just put it this way. It was very important to the project that I left the Big Brother house. It was very important to the project.
Eubank, are you hinting at what I think you're hinting at? That the organisers of Celebrity Big Brother said, Chris, we want you to go first?
No.
Oh, fair enough. That's what you said. Totally there, Chris. Right, fair enough. But now, you, unlike the others, for the voting, you had your own voting system, didn't you? Let's have a quick look at it.
Please, could you give me the name of the first person you'd like to nominate?
Well, let's see. I have to do it by, straws because I like everybody out there and everybody deserves to be there. And I don't feel I should emotionally high-string myself to actually pick one to leave. I'd rather pick myself, and if I can't do that because of your rules, I'll pick from these pieces of paper now. That looks like Anthea, and that looks like Claire. So let me just check that. That's the small one was Jack. The second biggest one was Jack, Keith, then it was Claire, then Anthea, and then Vanessa. So we have Claire and, not Vanessa, the other one, Anthea. Anthea and Claire. They are my nominations, which were picked from the straws.
What the fuck was the system there? It made no sense to me.
I was just trying to be fair in the best way I could. Unfortunately, I was never that good at mathematics in school.
There was no maths in it. It was bits of paper trying to pretend you were a celebrity.
Yes. Well, I mean, it was the best I could do.
I'm slightly confused by your point, but we've only got another couple of hours to get through this, so I'm going to move on. And, Chris, we're going to move on to your next first. Your first acting role. Now, what was it, Chris?
Probably Othello. I promise you, I was taking lessons from Stephen Burkoff, and he gave me this character to play, and he gave me a script of which I had to commit to memory and
when was this?
3-4 months ago.
Right. Because did you not have an acting role when you were a little bit younger?
Oh, playing Dozy? Come on. Dozy?
Well, Dozy or Dopey, as the rest of the world knows it.
Okay.
So you played a dwarf, didn't you, in Snow White?
Yeah, but I was 6 years old. I mean...
Oh, yeah, we ought to say it wasn't last week or anything.
Right,
This
exactly.
was his big film that's coming out. But you were 6. So tell us about playing Dopey or Dozy in Snow White. Do you remember much about it at all?
No, well, yes, I remember actually backing up. Can I get up?
Yeah, please do. Show us.
So what I did, I always have this tendency to smile when I'm on camera. So you can imagine how difficult it was for me to actually hold that hard exterior when I was fighting, because I was always just on the verge of breaking out laughing, because I knew that I was infuriating people, but it was just an act. Anyway, with this Dopey... No, hold on. What I did, I came out and because I had this big grin on my face, I kind of backed up really slowly and I was looking at the edge, and someone said, "You're going to fall over any minute, Chris." And I went like that. Then the smile had gone, and I turned around and I did my piece. Can I just show them this?
Please do.
Most potent, grave, and reverend seigneurs, my very noble and approved good masters, that I have tamed this old man's daughter is most true. True, I have married her. The very head and front of my offending hath this extent no more. Rude am I in my speech, and little blessed in the set phrase of peace. For since these arms of mine had 7 years piss, till now some 9 moons wasted they have used their dearest action in the tented field. And little of this great world can I speak, more than pertains to feats of broil and battle. Therefore, little will I grace my cause in speaking for myself. Yet, with your gracious patience, I will around on varnished tale deliver of my whole course of love. What charms, what drugs, what conjuration for such proceedings am I charged withal? I won this daughter. Thank you.
Now, sorry, Chris. Did you know the first person Martin met on the set of EastEnders was Ricky Butcher? Sit down. That seems quite a lot for a 9-year-old to say in a school play, Chris.
That was Othello, sir.
Othello, fantastic, fair play. That's one of the. I don't know Shakespeare, I'll be honest. But that's one of the things. One of your skills is you've got these just quotes in your head, haven't you? Millions of quotes.
Pick a subject.
Ladies.
Ladies. Oh, let's see. Now, the portion of a woman which appeals to man's depravity is fashioned with considerable care, and what at first appears to be a simple little cavity is truly an elaborate affair. There's the vulva, the vagina, and the good old perineum. The hymen in the case of certain brides, there are lots of little gadgets that you'd love if you could see them, such as clitoris and God knows what besides.
Right, Chris, I'm sorry, you can't say clitoris. You can't say clitoris. Dear goodness me, sir.
No.
Oh.
Now, isn't it a pity when those common people chatter about these mysteries to which I have referred, that they give to such a delicate and intricate matter such a short and unattractive little word? Thank you.
Chris? The gauntlet has been laid down, sir. Give me a subject.
Your subject?
I want to play the quotes game. Give me a subject.
Life.
Don't think, feel. It's like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all the heavenly glory. Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. Beat that, sir. Beat that if you dare. I'm teasing you. Join me after the break when Chris Eubank will be telling us about the first time he was pinned to the ropes in his shorts begging for mercy. What a party that was. See you soon. Television show where I'm talking to boxer turned ex-boxer Chris Eubank. Now, Chris, before we move on, I'd like to ask you a few quick fire first. And if I ask the question, if you give me the first as fast as you can you do that for us?
I like that.
Let's see how this goes, OK? Seconds out. First object you rescued from a fire in your house.
I've never had a fire in my house.
First time someone took the piss out of your clothing.
Probably 1993 on the seafront, someone said, "What a prat you look."
Well remembered, sir. First person you'd ring in a time of crisis.
Me.
Zen. First thing you do in the morning. Be careful, Chris. It's a family show.
Well, like everybody else.
Oh, well, then we're not going to go there. First toy.
My first toy, probably a trumpet.
First... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you play the trumpet?
No.
OK. Your first public nudity?
It was a world championship fight, and I was probably 2 or 3 ounces over the weight, which was 11.6. And so I probably had to take off my underpants with the world's media actually looking at me, where you'd have 2 men, probably Barry Hearn and Ronnie Davis, holding towels in front of the scales where I'd actually make the weight with nothing on. Yeah.
Did they have to hold up your winky or something just to lose another bit of weight or something? Just to release a bit of weight, another gram or 2. Kilogram in my case. End of the round. Chris, let's move on to your next first. Your first words of wisdom, and I'm not talking for the moment about your own words, but the first wise words that were said to you.
The first wise words were said to me by a lady called Mrs. Joyner. Is that the one you have? No?
Carry on.
And she said, "Chris," this is when I was in school in New York, she said, "Chris, do it right the first time, because if you don't, you're only going to have to do it again." And I used that quotation right the way through my career. I made sure that I had trained myself very well before a contest, that I wouldn't have a defeat earlier on. And I went 11 years unbeaten because I used that motto: do it right the first time. Beat this guy the first time. You can do it. It's only a matter of actually applying yourself.
You are very famous for your own philosophies and your own wisdoms. Now, here's a statement that you made after the birth of your first 2 sons, and this is a quote from you. "I always knew I wouldn't have daughters. No one could tell me I produce anything other than man-children." So, after your first 2 sons, Chris, what was the name of your next man-child?
Emily.
Yeah. Does he mind being called Emily?
Well, let me tell you how that went, OK? My first child, Christopher, who is now 12, you know, I was adamant. There is no way I can produce a girl. And my wife got worried that probably 7 months into the pregnancy that it could be a girl, and it just can't be, I said.
Where did you get this idea that you couldn't...
I don't know. I just, you know, it...
You just felt it in your loins. There is only man seed there. That's it.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, now, the same for Sebastian, who is now 11. I couldn't produce a girl, and I actually said in the media, which is where you have this from, I don't feel at this particular point in time I can produce a female child right now. Now, this is what was said, but as you know with the media, they take things out of context and they make you look a twit. Okay, hold on. Now, I have a friend called Pepe, Pepe said to me one day, I used to go to his store, well, I still go to his store, and I sit down on his little step, and he's a very kind of, you know, he's got a very good channel of thinking. And he said, listen, enough of the boys now. Listen, it would be nice for Karen to have a girl so she can see herself. And I said, you know, Pepe, you're right. And the next child was a girl. I swear on my eyes.
Where is this magic Pepe? I need to have a word with him. Well, I'm not after children. I just want to get the girls. You have an amazing control of your seed. That's incredible. You can say, right, I'm going to have a girl now. Oh. And
no,
then...
No, it didn't work like that. But anyway, and the last one, I didn't mind, and it was another boy.
You didn't care, it was another man-child. Or boy.
Joseph.
So what are your kids' names that you got for?
Christopher is 12, 11 is Sebastian, Emily is 8, and Joseph is 5.
That must be hard work, 4 kids.
For my wife, yes. Me, I just pay. Carry on.
You're supposed to laugh, but it's true, we know it. Now listen, terrible thing happened to you. Your truck got broken into about 4 or 5 years ago. Terrible thing. If you had your car broken into, it's awful, awful. And they sold out 1,500 quid's worth of TV and video equipment. And your strawberry bonbons. And the quote was, no one's bonbons should be touched. It's against the rules. People who do that, they will get nowhere in life.
No class at all.
You love bonbons, do you?
Well, look, when you leave strawberry bonbons in your glove compartment to fermentate for like 3 weeks...
yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, no, seriously, this is... Look, I mean, if you understand the concept of what a strawberry bonbon is, it is against the rules. You don't do that. Take the money, fine. Fine, take the money. Smash the window, take the video, take the TV. Do not touch another man's strawberry bonbons. It's against the rules.
That is... I salute that. Chris, because you've been such a star, we've got you your very own strawberry bonbons. No buggers touching these. These are yours. So take them over.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Fantastic.
Thank you.
They are your man's bonbons. They are the...
Two things. One is I'm going to need the key. and the second thing is that in that compartment, I think that I had some blackjacks. Now, I can't even begin to think that I had fruit salads in there. That would be just mad. I've lost my mind about actually taking that on.
Let's leave it, because you've got some strawberry bonbons.
Yeah,
that should be
class.
plenty.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. You can put those down beside you and enjoy those later on.
Yeah.
Chris, while you do that, it's time to check out your next first. Your first qualification. This is brilliant. I got this, and it's one of those things you go, yes, this is what I want to know about Chris Eubank. Your first qualification, which is a secretarial certificate you got from the Bronx Community College in New York. Fantastic. Tell me about that, man.
Qualified secretary, thank you very much.
How many words a minute could you end up doing?
60.
60 words a minute, that's...
And that's no mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, 60 is what I averaged. Yeah.
You didn't use any Tipex or anything like that, you just did it straight?
No. And it was touch typing as well. Touch typing is that you don't actually look at your keys, you just look at your script.
Oh, what you're reading?
Type, yeah. You don't look at your fingers.
Well, Chris, that's absolutely fantastic. And we thought we'd find out just how much of the old magic there is left in the Eubank finger. So, Chris, if you join me in the ring over here for the showdown of the century, sir! Come on! Yes! Take a seat over there on the red table, if you wouldn't mind, Eubank. Ladies and gentlemen, now you join me here for a type-off between, in the red corner, the Baron of the Backspace, the Emperor of the Ampersand, a man who gives 100% by typing 100, then pressing Shift and the 5 key. Brian's touch typing Tyro 10-fingered, Chris Eubank! And his opponent in the blue corner, the king of the caps lock, The man who keeps tabs on his tabs, who underlines his ability by typing ability, then underlining it. Defeated on a technical knockout by Eubank in 1991. The one, the only, Gary Stretch! Sit down in your seats. We haven't got time for this. Come on. Hey, listen, I can take both of you on, so just sit down and shut up and do what I say. Wow, it's wicked. Now, listen, this is the first time that you two have been in the ring together since that fight. And, Gary, this is your chance to get revenge on what's his name over there.
That was a bad day in the office for me.
Really?
And another day today.
You think this will sort him out, do you?
I hope so.
You're going down, Eubank. Now, the rules are simple. You just have to type as fast as you can, and as soon as you get to the end of the line, you've got to hit the carriage return, OK? When you get to the end of the line.
Is that that? Is that that?
That's the carriage return now. Every time you hit the return, you get a point. The person with the most points is the champion of the world. I want a good, clean type. No blows below the ribbon, OK? Ready, steady. Second out, round one. And we're off. And Chris is going very, very slowly. You haven't got to type any words. You can just type what you want. Just keep going.
Oh, no, let me...
Gary Stretch is going mental. He's got one here. Gary Stretch has got one already. Eubank is still on his first line. I'm not even going to tell you what he's typing until the end.
No.
Stretch is steaming ahead. He's on his second point.
Mine don't make sense. This is Othello.
Chris Eubank is a big baby you can beat easily.
Chris, you know that better.
Chris is still on his first line. I don't believe it. Gary's steaming off here. This is going to be the grudge match of the year.
I told you, lightning never strikes twice.
He's there. Look, Chris, I think, has lost his bottle or something. He's cracking up. He's turned to a baby in front of our very eyes. Whereas Gary's steering it now. It just doesn't... Gary is... Oh, my Lord almighty. We've got 6 lines. We've got... Little lines. We're ready. I think we're coming time to be out. And... Time is up. Let's have a look at the scores. Let's have a look. Let's check this out. It was a lot closer than we thought it could have been. Let's see. Gary is a great man, and this has been a great
Sport.
You spelt wrong!
He has been a great sport.
You've got one line there, Chris.
That's enough for
it,
me.
and a spelling mistake. But Gary Stretch, absolute nonsense you've typed.
No, I never.
But you've got 6 lines. The winner is, of course, Mr. Gary Stretch. And Gary, here is your trophy. It's your very own. It's a tiny Chris Eubank. So, whenever you feel the urge...
I wish he was that big when he fought me.
Well, think of all the fun you could do with a tiny Chris Eubank.
And that was touch typing.
Yeah, you spelled the word wrong. That's all we've got time for tonight. My thanks to Gary Stretch for defeating my special guest, Mr. Chris Eubank. We will see you next time for some more great stuff. Good night.